So I think being more than 200 people here, I think the word is out. The word is out. It's not a secret anymore that mountain biking is a big market. Mountain biking has a huge potential for the development of mountain biking destinations. So we hear all of these facts, you know, there's so many mountain bikers, they have a above average income, they have these super expensive bikes, they're a very interesting demographic. So the potential is there, it's no secret, the word is out. So a lot of destinations are in it now for the race to get to that potential. And what destinations classically do is they say, oh well, we got mountains, maybe just hills, we have infrastructure, we have tourism services, so all we need to do is really we have to go through a communication marketing exercise, and preferably they take some kind of special interest publication, maybe Dirt magazine, maybe some other one, and they publicize we're the new mountain biking mecca, come and visit us. And mountain bikers then come because they believe Dirt magazine and everybody else, and then this happens. The destination is not ready. The offer has not been adapted, developed to the needs of mountain bikers. And actually, this is one of the top 10 mistakes destinations make when they try to develop for the mountain biking market. They think it's purely a marketing, a communication exercise. And it's not. There's a whole other list of things that you should really not do when developing your mountain biking destination. But this presentation is not called how not to develop a mountain biking destination. This presentation is actually called how to develop a mountain biking destination. And we've developed mountain biking destinations for more than 10 years now, and we've developed them all according to the same method. And the method is actually pretty simple. When we go into a mountain biking destination, we say we develop 5 different elements. The first element is trails, right? So where we move on. So the trails, our tours, everything. The second element is transportation. And here we don't only talk about lift, we also talk about public transportation, private transportation. The third element, we call it hotels, meaning everything for eating, drinking, and sleeping. So it could also be apartments, campings, and so on. The fourth element, we just call it services. It's shops, bike hire, guiding services, growing immensely all across Europe. And the fifth element is something that we call scene. What do we mean by scene? By scene, James touched it before, we mean something like the local mountain biking culture. And the notion behind it is that we think you cannot really become a mountain bike destination if the local people don't embrace the mountain biking culture, the mountain biking lifestyle. All right, so with these 5 elements, we can go out into a destination and we can measure the current state of these elements. And then we come out with a result, for instance, like this. If this is 0% and this is 100% fulfillment, for every element we can say, okay, for instance, in trails, you're on a quality level of maybe 40% of what's possible. And with this red line, we can basically define the average quality grade for every element. The gray area shows the variance within every element. What does that mean? I'll make you an example. You'll see in this destination, hotels and services are rated at around 50% quality level. However, the variance, the gray area in the hotels is much smaller. It means the quality difference between the worst bike hotel and the best bike hotel is much smaller than, for instance, in services. In this destination, service grade, we have great bike shops, but we have really, really bad hiring services. We have really, really bad battery changing services for e-bikes. So the variance is much higher. So this gives you an overview of the current state of your destination. And we don't go into a destination, look at it, and then make up this drawing. This analysis is not drawn, it's calculated. And how do we calculate it? Pretty simple, we calculate it with user feedback. We have a free app that we give out to riders, visitors, local guides, local riders. It's called the MTB agent. They go out and they register different ratings. They register different points as they go out through their mountain biking experience in a destination. They take pictures, they give a rating, they write comments. And at the end, for a destination, it really gives you even a spatial overview of the current state. You know, where are my greens? Where am I really good? Where are my reds? Like, where are my hot topics? Where do I really need to improve my mountain biking destination? And in the backbone of this, we get a load of data. And with that data, we can do all sorts of things. We can create the typical emotional curve along a typical experience a biker has in your destination. We can create, oh, I have one of these. We can create a business model based on this data. We can do benchmarking. We can compare. How does destination A compare to destination B in terms of transportation? Where's the gap? And why is that gap there? Because in the end, and this is the most important part, from this data that we get from the users, we can directly deduct an action plan. We can directly deduct measures, and these measures should, in the end, help us to move this red line outward and to make this gray area smaller. The good thing is, since we started involving local bikers with the app, since we started involving ridership, we can do this kind of analysis in about a month, 1.5. So we're very fast in getting this kind of overview for a destination. So far, so good. When we show this kind of method, we always get the same question. And the question is, what's the most important element out of these 5? Because obviously, even though we analyze them like separately, there's a strong connectivity amongst the different elements. They're not independent from each other, right? So let's look at them from an economic point of view. Transportation, hotels, and services are the elements that add to the economic value, And it's pretty obvious, I think, right? For transportation, people pay money. So you can buy your day pass at the ski resort or buy a ticket for the train. For hotel services, bikers pay money. You eat something, maybe you sleep there, you will drink something. For services, bikers pay money. You hire a guide, you rent a bike, whatever. So these 3 elements add to the economic value. Now, what about trails that have already been talked about? Trails do not add to the economic value. They do not add to the economic value. They multiply it. Think about it. It's pretty logic. You can have the best bike hotels, the best guiding services. If you have no trails, it isn't worth a dime. The other way around is also true. You can have great trails, people will come and ride, but if you don't give them the opportunity to spend their money in a hotel with services, the economic value will also go towards 0. So trails, you can't say which one is the most important, but trails have a special role because they're this multiplier, and they're a multiplier by themselves. So when you go into trails, a lot of this has been talked about. Of course, we talk about signing, mapping. People need to find your trails. And if you're lucky, like here in Slovenia, you might have some existing trails that you can use for mountain bikers. But it's definitely not enough. Even though if you have existing trails, be it from a war, from smuggling, from commerce, whatever the history of your trails is, chances are, if you want to cater to mountain biking, you have to adapt your maintenance that you do on the trail so that this kind of situation becomes this kind of situation. And more we heard this, purpose-built trails are incredibly important, even in locations where you have an existing trail network. Purpose-built trails will expand your user base, because this is what makes it accessible to families, to a larger user group. So purpose-built trails are important for you, even though you might think, I have 300 kilometers of hiking trails I can use. It probably won't be enough if you want to make significant business. But this also means there's great planning to be done. Trails are not just there. Trails need to be planned. Trail networks need to be planned. And yes, trails need to be maintained. Trails need to be built. We're talking construction. It's not an easy fix. It costs money. It's a significant investment for a significant market. But it's an investment. And if you talk investment, the next question is then, what's my return on investment? So what do I get for that? And of course, the example people always bring is then Whistler Mountain in Canada, what numbers they make. They're pretty known. They're out there, more than 100,000 day passes on the lift, all of that. I brought you some examples much closer from where I'm from the eastern part of Switzerland. It's a 6-hour drive from here, so very close to you. These examples that follow are in the same mountain range as you are. This is the bike park Lenzerheide. Last year, opening weekend, 2 days, more than 4,000 day passes sold for the bike park. A day pass goes for 52 Swiss francs. At the moment, currency rate is almost 1-to-1 with euro. So let's say 52 euro for a day pass. More than 4,000 tickets sold in the opening weekend. And the opening weekend was not the most successful one during the summer. Different model for lift companies, not the gravity type. This is more the enduro type of offer. Piznair in St. Moritz, 2 cabins full of bikers, 100 bikers, exclusive, goes up at 4 o'clock in the morning so you can see the sunrise, sold for 95 Swiss francs a person. So almost 10,000 francs with 2 full gondolas. Let it run twice, 4 o'clock in the morning, where you would have no business otherwise. Nobody else will go up that early in the morning. But transportation is not always lift companies. This is a new trailer we developed for the public bus service. It's called the Bike Porter. It's by push of a button, hydraulic, 2 levels, because we're getting more bikers using this kind of services. 5 bikes here, 5 here, 5 here, 5 here, so 20 bikes total. Last summer, we transported 28,000 bicycles with these kind of buses, 28,000 bicycles, of which almost 90% were mountain bikes. So making by far the biggest shares. The rest then was touring bikes, some commuter bikes, and very few e-bikes. But mountain bikes making up for by far the largest share. What about hotels? This is actually a hotel in Fabio Giacomelli's area, and he will tell you all about the hotels and the numbers in that area. But this is what a typical bike storage has to look like nowadays. It's not the garage or the ski room. This is a bike room. And the hotels in my village, this is our own hotel. It's like 4-star plus. It's important to know mountain bikers don't sleep only in the campsite or in the 3-star hotel, or in apartments. They also sleep in 5-star hotel. Mountain biking is so big that within that market, there's a niche for every type of hotel. So the overnight stay here costs about 240 francs up per night per person. This hotel works greatly with mountain bikers. The most successful bike hotel in our town, it's not a 4-star, it's about 3-star. They do about 3,500 to 4,000 overnight stays in one summer through mountain bikers. What about trails, the purpose-built trails in our area? This is the Corviglia Flow Trail, built in 2013, ready in 2014. The first summer with basically no marketing. This is just one trail, 4 kilometers. One trail, 14,000 frequencies. About 4,000 tickets sold. And keep in mind, those 4,000 tickets were additional, and in the same area, we know that bikers spend 159 Swiss francs per day per person. And this is the average amongst bikers who stay for 1, 2, or 3 nights. The average is just about 2.9. And all the bikers that only come for the day, that don't spend the night. The ratio is about 50%. So here, 50% of the bikers don't spend the night. But calculating the average money spent amongst all of them, you get 159 Swiss francs. This is a pretty high value amongst all of them. So looking at these values, the essence is the word is out there. The market is here. We've recognized the potential. We have realities like this materializing very close to Slovenia. Some of it is already materializing in Slovenia itself, with these thousands doing the Trans-Slovenia and so on. The table is set, but we just scratched the surface. We know how to develop, we know what we need to do, but now it's really the time for your destinations to decide, do you want to sit at this table and get a piece of this pie? The time is really now, but it's really up to you, and we'll see how the developments go. I wish you the best of luck in your destination. Thank you very much.